Hi, welcome to howtod&d. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5e and the player tactics. This particular video is going to focus on player tactics or player tips. I've done these sorts of videos before. This particular tip is focus fire. This is when you have all your party members focusing on one enemy or a select number of enemies in a particular group. And there's one purpose behind that, and that is to reduce the number of enemies that are attacking you, because if you reduce the number of enemies attacking you, that means less attacks and therefore less damage. And you want to do that as quickly as possible. And there's a good reason for doing it, because it means you're more likely to survive and you will probably be more successful in your combats. It's part of working as a team. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can have your tanks in the front line focusing on the tougher or bigger enemies that can really hurt the other party members who might be slightly weaker. And if you have more than one close combat fighter or tank, put them in the front and get them to focus all of their attacks on one target until it goes down. That really will help you in your combat. Another way to actually reduce your numbers in terms of focus fire, and that is if you have casters or wizards or a character who can affect a large area, get them to target the ones that are weaker and they can take down in one round. Really quick. Get rid of the numbers at your table. Soon as you have the advantage in terms of numbers, the chances are you're more likely to win that combat, and that's why you want to do that. Another thing is lightly armoured enemies. Lightly armoured enemies are going to be killed quicker, so focus on them. Now there are some sort of provisos to that. You do have to be discerning about who you focus on. Often it is the front line. Try and knock down the front line so the fighter doesn't have to take too much damage, or the paladin or whoever is standing in the front line. But if they are shielding you, that means all those ranged attacks that you have, whether it be a bow or crossbow, you should normally be targeting the whatever character or NPC or monster that the front lead is trying to stop. That's usually the case. But if you have somebody in the back line to the enemy, such as a mage, a wizard, a necromancer, somebody who casts spells or has the ability to cast or use abilities, monster abilities that will affect you in a really bad way, then target them. There's no reason why the front line can't hold the front line, provided you've got the ability to do that. It's not too open, while you concentrate all of your spells and your ranged attacks at the back line, at the sorcerer, wizard or mage or whoever is causing the most amount of damage to your party. That's often what my players do. Almost all of them are power gamers, so they will concentrate on the biggest threat. That's not always the case. Sometimes they do divide things up, but focus fire, that is really what you want to try and do. So another element to who do you actually target? Who do you focus your fire on? My players are often power gamers, and so they will actually calculate and record how much damage a monster has taken, so they can make an assessment about whether they target that particular monster with more attacks or they shift their focus to somewhere else. That's a reasonable way of playing the game. Now I know people are going to say, Fred, that is metagaming and that is bad. Now, that could be viewed as that is bad, but there are usually signals that the Dungeon Master can get, and signals that the players or the characters would get in real life if they were actually fighting monsters. So first of all, the Dungeon Master doesn't actually have to tell the players how many hit points a monster has. There's no reason to do that. You can describe to them the state of the monster or NPC in terms of injuries or the condition, or whether they're getting tired. That's up to you, and that is normal information that your characters would actually have if they were actually there in the middle of this battle. They would be able to see this with their own eyes. So let them have that information. Let them discern what is going to be the best target for them, which one is actually going to be ready to go down. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I don't see any issue with it. That's really all I have on Focus Fire. If you found this video helpful or informative, please share, like and subscribe. If you haven't done so already, I'm going to do more of these videos I haven't done a lot for a long time, and I thought, well, it's time to do some more. If you have any questions about focus fire, or you have anything to add in terms of how to focus fire in the game of Dungeons and Dragons and how to take down your enemies quickly, by all means, if I've left it out, put it in the comments. And till next time, keep rolling those 20s.